Summarize this story for the layman who's going to go, okay, why should I be interested in this?
Well, we've got a Native American NASCAR driver who was caught smuggling tobacco, $500 million in evaded taxes. And if you don't like tax evasion and racing cars, then I can't help you, you know?
In 2015, a rookie racer became the first indigenous driver ever in the NASCAR Cup Series. A few months later, though, he was arrested in the largest police operation in Canadian history. Now he's fighting his case in court, and it may change the future of Native rights.
It's not only my fight, it's the whole nation's fight.
From Campside Media and Dan Patrick Productions, this is Running Smoke. Find us anywhere you get your podcasts.
So how'd you get into NASCAR?
Well, my dad, actually, he got me into it. You might not think that an Indian guy would be into NASCAR, but it's the only sport on TV that we understood as an immigrant family. We have so many football for dummies books, baseball for dummies books, we never cracked the code. But NASCAR was pretty easy for us to wrap our heads around.
But what was it about NASCAR that you understood?
Growing up in Daytona Beach, I mean, you get 1 week of school canceled a year for the races, and you just go and stand outside the track and you can feel it in your chest when those cars are going around.
How did you first hear about Derek's story?
I was actually just on my NASCAR blogs doing the rounds and just checking on the racing news world, and I saw the story pop up that a driver had been arrested for smuggling tobacco. And there were so many elements to just that headline that I didn't understand that I just kept looking into it. And it wasn't until 3 years later that I saw another headline that said the same guy had beaten his case in Quebec and was now taking that case all the way to constitutional court. And I said, there's something here.
What was the next piece of the story, though, that you thought, okay, there's something else attached to this that's a whole lot bigger?
Well, he is the first Native American NASCAR driver in decades. And his big argument for why he should smuggle tobacco was that it is his right as a Native person to trade tobacco tax-free. And so once you involve the reservation in the story, it just gets so much deeper.
But does he understand what rules and laws should apply and do apply to him?
Oh yeah, I mean, as a person growing up in the reservation that I did across from Montreal in Ganawage Reservation, I mean, you do not grow up without learning every single law that governs your daily life. And he is just like everyone else and is trying to make those rights recognized and let people know who he is.
Summarize this story for the layman who's going to go, okay, why should I be interested in this?
Well, we've got a Native American NASCAR driver who was caught smuggling tobacco, $500 million in evaded taxes. And if you don't like tax evasion and racing cars, then I can't help you, you know?
How good a driver is he?
All right, well now it's getting touchy. In 2010, he did win the Canadian NASCAR Series Rookie of the Year award. But then when he came to America a couple years later to run with the big dogs, he started 42nd place in his first race in New Hampshire in 2015, finished 39th because 3 cars fell out of the race. But if you ask him, you know, it's just an achievement to be there and an achievement to run 10 laps behind the leaders. So I will say, as part of the story, I did get into a race car at Charlotte Motor Speedway to do a lap around the track, and I will never be able to call anyone a bad driver again because we paid for 5 laps. I made it 2 laps, and then I did this and sat in the parking lot for an hour trying not to throw up. So there goes my dreams of that line of work.
What kind of personality does he have?
He plays it real close to the chest. And if you don't know how to ask the right questions, he will run circles around you every single day. He is one of the most intelligent people I've ever interviewed. And you wouldn't be able to tell because, you know, just by looking at him, he's just your run-of-the-mill, like redneck, loves racing junkers on the ice. But you get down to the nitty-gritty, and he knows how to put himself out there and knows how to play everyone like a fiddle.
What's best for this documentary on how it ends? He goes to prison or he beats this?